Welcome back to the next tutorial. In this tutorial, I will show you how to use J slider and progress bar, J progress bar, J slider. So I will show you what I did here. So now you can see this is a J slider. So when I slide it, the text in my text box changes. So when I keep it on 20, or I can just set it like 40 and click on OK. So my J slider and the J progress bar automatically sets the text or sets their value. And okay, I'll show you how I did it. So just drag and drop a J slider, right click, properties, paint labels, and I used a tick. Yeah, you can also use the default slider. So let's go on with. So this is the configuration I used. So go to events, mouse motion, mouse dragged, and on mouse dragged, what I what I'm doing is I'm just setting the text. I'm just setting the text to the J slider lid, which is my text box name. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the J slider and getting its value and getting its value. That's it. And the same thing I'm doing with J progress bar. I'm setting the value and what value it is, and what value I'm setting is of J slider. That's it, nothing else. So if you want to see the code, this is what it is. So no, nothing moved. And if you want to set a text like uh, like you're writing 50 here, and with the button you want to set your J slider or text, or your basically your progress bar. You want to move your progress bar to 0 to 50 and your J slider to 20 or 0 to 50. So how you can do this? So just drag and drop a J text field and a button. Go on to your button and use this. What I've done here is I made a variable val. I made a variable of data type integer, and what I'm doing is I'm getting the text from my text box and I'm setting the value to the J slider and J progress bar. That's it. So if you want to use a progress bar like this, like on your loading button or somewhat like this, it progresses from 0 to 100. So what you can do is you can use a timer. It uses, so what does this timer does? It's an action listener. First of all, it's an action listener. So an action listener with the object A, and in that action listener we have a action performed, or basically a action event. So an action event, I'm just setting the J progress bar value and my counter, a counter which I declared as a static counter, and a timer itself. So these three, timer, counter and count, I've already set these as the default. So with the if statement, I've made a counter that just counts, and a timer class. Using the timer class, I just stop the timer, that's it. And using thread, basically I'm not using thread in this. So timer is equal to new timer. This is a time, you can see new timer, the time, and the action listener over here, the time interval and action listener, and just telling the timer to just start. And this is basically a method or function I made, so I'm just calling it here in this button, in this progress button. So that's all for today. On the next tutorial I'll show you how to make this. This is a mail form, how you can mail someone using Java swings, and you can even integrate this into your project like how I did in the project, how I did. So I'm going to show you that. So this your mail function can be important. So any unauthorized login in your PC, or basically from your app, you can just write the mail code and just mail the username and password which they have entered, and the time and all that stuff, so you will be updated. So this is the mail which I used in this project. It's like send to the email ID here, the subject, the attachment file, and the mean content. And when I click on the send button, the mail will be sent. And if I remove this and the two, the email ID which I want to send to, and when I click on send to all, it just sends each and every, it just goes into the database and use each and every email ID and sends these stuff, these basically these content to each and every ID. So until next time, enjoy.